Every legendary career begins with a moment no one was meant to see. Hidden away in casting offices and studio archives are audition tapes, raw, awkward, and brutally honest. They are uncomfortable to watch, even for the stars who survived them. And yet, these forgotten recordings reveal the exact moments when everything changed. Long before the Marvel Cinematic Universe dominated Hollywood, Robert Downey Jr. walked into an audition that would either resurrect his career or end it for good.
Are you going to ignore all those advances that were spawned from military funding?
Wow. Wow, you really have all of this down. You ever lose an hour of sleep your whole life?
I gotta tell you something, Ron. You're never gonna get me in the sack with that attitude. Crudité?
That single performance didn't just define Iron Man, it became the foundation of an entire franchise. Looking back, Downey would later admit that absolute confidence, preparation, and belief were the only things carrying him through that moment.
I haven't really done it since, but for that one instant, I had to psych myself into that there was nobody else on earth had a chance. I was too prepared. I was too confident.
Was it a great audition, in your opinion?
I think, yeah, obviously it went pretty well.
Explain this to me, because I'm not an actor, and I don't understand how you develop a character. Are you telling me that, would you go and study a confident tycoon and kind of take on his persona? Is that a way of getting to that character?
I was just thinking, this is me, and I am in this situation.
That's what you do?
Absolutely.
But even success offers no immunity. Leonardo DiCaprio learned that firsthand when he arrived, thinking he was attending a casual meeting, only to be told he would have to audition on the spot. No exceptions, no shortcuts. One wrong choice could have cost him the role that defined a generation. Instead, the pressure revealed exactly why he belonged there. Some auditions are near disasters. Before landing his first major break, DiCaprio once pushed an audition so far that the entire room burst into laughter.
I remember it was a mustard jar scene, and he had to jam a mustard jar in my eye repeatedly. And the script sort of didn't call for it, but I got up and he said, "Now, is it empty? Is it empty?" And I got up and I screamed, "No!" Like completely unnecessary, but I screamed in his face, and I sat there, with my head, looking like a red tomato, and everyone started laughing at me in the entire room. De Niro, everybody was in hysterics, sat there frozen thinking, oh my God, I just screwed this entire opportunity up. And I just sat there frozen. And then, Bob, in traditional De Niro fashion, kind of just looked at me and went, it's good, it's good, it's good.
Convinced he had destroyed his chances, what felt like failure turned out to be the thing that made him unforgettable.
He didn't know he was going to test. He came in, he thought it was another meeting to meet Kate. And he said, "You mean I'm reading?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, I don't read." I said, "Well," I shook his hand. I said, "Well, thanks for coming by. If I don't read, I don't get the part, just like that." And I said, "Oh, yeah, come on. I'm not going to fuck it up by making the wrong decision in casting, so you're going to read or you're not going to get the part." Oh, okay. So he comes in and he's like every ounce of his entire being is just so, negative.
Others barely understand what they're auditioning for at all. Hugh Jackman accepted a role he wasn't even sure made sense. He didn't know what a Wolverine was, misunderstood the character entirely, and questioned whether playing a comic book mutant would derail his career.
I'd never heard of X-Men. I didn't know there was an animal called a Wolverine. I thought it was like one of those Shazam. It's a made-up, comic book animal or something. And I came to set after studying wolves, and I had this whole physicality.
Yeah.
And I was doing a rehearsal, and the director goes, "What are you doing with your body, man?" And wolves are they're always smelling, and they're looking down because they're actually smelling the ground. And he goes, "Wolves, you're a Wolverine." I said, "Well, there's no such thing." And he goes, "Yeah, there is. Go to the zoo down the road, man. There's 4 of them down there."
Today, it is impossible to imagine Wolverine without him. Even more surprising, the role only came his way because another star stepped aside and pointed casting in his direction.
That Russell Crowe was the original. They wanted him to be Wolverine. Is that true?
Absolutely.
And Russell Crowe called you and said, "Hey, you ought to go in on this part."
He didn't call me. He called Brian Singer, the director. He said, look, I don't want to do it, but you should look at this guy.
Not every audition leads to the role you expect. Tom Hiddleston originally auditioned to play Thor, not Loki. The casting decision that followed reshaped the Marvel Universe and turned him into one of cinema's most iconic villains. Proof that sometimes losing one role means finding the right one.
You were telling me backstage that when you auditioned for Thor, you actually auditioned for Thor.
I did. Yes, I did. They were basically at the time, the remit was if you're over 6 foot and you've got blonde hair, and you could come and have a pop at it. So I actually auditioned. I never auditioned for Loki. I only ever auditioned for Thor, which is nuts.
And how
Before Spider-Man ever swung across New York, more than 7,500 actors competed for the mask. What set Tom Holland apart wasn't a line reading. It was a spontaneous moment that no one planned. One unexpected move changed his life forever.
Oh, okay, so a constant stream graph, I took a truck. No,
Some auditions reveal uncomfortable truths about the industry itself. Megan Fox's Transformers audition made it clear that talent alone was not always the priority. The questions she faced exposed the realities many actors quietly endure, and sometimes the cruelty isn't even subtle.
The only thing Mike asked me when I was reading with him and auditioning, he just asked me if I could run. He's like, "Can you run?" I was like, "Well, yeah, I think so." And the other thing he asked me, he goes, "Do you have a nice stomach?" And I said, "Well, in my opinion, yes, I do." So I figured I'm going to be running, hopefully not naked, but I'll be running in a belly shirt, maybe.
Years before major roles, Lucas Gage experienced a casting call that unintentionally exposed industry arrogance during a live Zoom audition. Instead of staying silent, he shared it publicly, forcing accountability where none was expected.
People live in these tiny apartments. Like, I'm looking at his, background, and he's got his TV and
Yeah, mute it. I know it's a apartment. That's why give me this job so I can get a better one.
Even legends cringe at their beginnings. Matthew McConaughey's early audition tape, filmed during his university years, was never meant to last. What he thought was a temporary job became a career spanning decades.
How's this? You know Bobby?
Hey, man.
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Say, man, you got a joint?
No, you want?
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
Sitting there and I watch and I go, man, that was 1992, 28 years ago. You thought you might just have a little 3-day job for a summer hobby. 28 years later, I still got a little summer job that turned into a career.
Scarlett Johansson lost out on Jumanji as a child. Instead of resentment, the rejection became a footnote in a much larger story.
You auditioned for Jumanji. The role went to Kirsten Dunst.
That is true.
As a kid, did you go to see Jumanji after?
Yeah, I saw
you did?
Jumanji. But I liked it. I liked Jumanji.
Yes, but do you sit there and go, motherfuckers, why didn't they take
No,
me?
I wasn't bitter enough at then.
Yeah, now you're
Now I'm bitter.
Anthony Starr once tested for James Bond. Looking back, he judged his performance harsher than anyone else ever could.
It also recently emerged, and I don't know how you feel about this, but your audition for James Bond came out.
The twist. Thank you, Mr.
James Bond. James Bond. I don't know how to feel about that coming out. It's very strange that they even let it out. It doesn't bother me, really. I mean, look, we all start somewhere, so it is what it is. But it is one of the worst readings of Bond, James Bond, you'll ever see. Stone-faced piece of wood, just Bond, James Bond.
Some auditions are unforgettable for a different reason entirely. Jason Momoa walked into a quiet casting room and did something no one expected. The energy, the risk, and the raw intensity secured his place in Game of Thrones before he ever spoke a line.
I saw the other day the video of your audition for Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah.
You did the hacker!
Yeah.
It's the coolest audition I've ever seen.
I was unsure if I was going to do it. I asked my buddy, and he's like, yeah, you got to do it. But it was weird because it was just two little nice ladies recording. And I'm like, oh, you mind if I try something first before we do the audition? And they're like, oh, please, be delighted. And then I just start getting into it, which is rather scary.
Even Oscar winners feel the fear. Anne Hathaway arrived believing she was auditioning for one role, only to discover the truth mid-meeting. The realization triggered the kind of anxiety actors rarely admit, but still push through.
That the audition was quite a tense process for you getting that role.
No.
Because I read somewhere that you were thinking it would be Harley Quinn.
Oh, yeah, that part. Yes. And I came in and I had this lovely Vivienne Westwood kind of, beautiful but kind of mad tailoring top with like stripes going everywhere, and I wore these like flat kind of jokery looking shoes, and I was just kind of trying to give Chris like these crazy little smiles. And then about an hour into the meeting, he goes, well, I'm sure I don't have to tell you this, but it's Catwoman. And I was like, shifting into a different gear right now.
And even icons of pop culture are no exception. Early Star Wars audition footage reveals uncertainty, missteps, and raw nerves, reminders that no one starts as a legend. Beyoncé, despite global superstardom, visibly recoiled when confronted with her early acting audition footage. Fame does not erase vulnerability. Behind every iconic performance is a moment of doubt, risk, and exposure. Auditions are where careers almost end, and sometimes where they quietly begin. Thanks for watching. Let me know who your favorite actor is.